My twins are so excited to have their own curriculum and be able to do school with us this year. And so this video is all about what my plans are for them this year, albeit very loose plans. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you are not new here, welcome back. Thank you for always taking the time to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. And today's video is a fun one. I get to talk about my twinsies. I get to talk about what my plans are for 3/4 preschool this year. So they are 3 years old currently, and they'll be turning 4 in November. So they'll be spending the majority of the school year as 4-year-olds. But my focus and goals for them for this year are good books. I really want to read lots of good books, lots of good stories, and have as many conversations as I can with like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. But I want that. And I also want to lay a good foundation of just numbers and letters and shapes and things like that that are just so crucial as they start to roll into kindergarten. But I do want to make a big, large disclaimer on this video because you don't need curriculum. You don't need this much curriculum to homeschool your preschoolers by any means. You could just use your library card and Pinterest, and I would love to do that. I don't have the time. My big kids are not that big. They're 7 and 6, and they're still learning to read, so there's lots of needs there. And 2, I don't have the temperament or patience to go and design my own like crafty sort of things. And I have realized over the last, I guess, year where I had plans for them and I didn't follow through because they were too loose and not scheduled and structured enough that I personally need curriculum. I need somebody to have already figured out what to do on what day and how to do it and what books and what pages and things like that, because that's really helpful for me. That's really life-giving. What's good is I don't feel compelled to check the boxes. I don't feel compelled to like, oh my gosh, we need to get all of this stuff done and to feel stressed about it. I already know that I can handle kind of these grid literature-based schedules or even like an Abeka schedule, which I'll get to in a second, without stressing that I need to check every box. I'm going to use the curriculum how I need to. I'm going to pump the brakes when we need to. I'm 100% not going to push them, and I'm going to follow their lead. So knowing all of that, I picked a lot of stuff, but you don't need to. So that's my disclaimer. So if you are a first-time homeschooler, please don't feel like this is what you need. This is just what I wanted, knowing myself well enough that this is going to be life-giving to me. So with that being said, I'm using 2 main programs. I'm using Sonlight, their new preschool program. It came out this year, 2021. So it's the 3/4 preschool program. It's this one. I'll just show it to you because I'm so excited. It's the Fiction, Fairy Tales, and Fun program. And so I'm using that. And I did not get the full curriculum. I just ordered the instructor's guide from Sonlight and some books that I couldn't access otherwise because I had picked up a partial used set because some of their books from previous editions are in this new edition as well. So I am putting this together a little bit myself, and so I'll let you know what I don't have as I get going. Anyway, that was a little sidetrack. So the 2 things I am using is the Sonlight 3/4 preschool as well as Abeka. I'm using some of their K3 resources, and then I also picked up the Abeka K4 program, the student set as well as I think the essential parent set. I picked up both of those things, and I'll show you those as well. And so I'm planning on using them kind of combined. So if you are interested in seeing more details or like a significant flip through of any of these programs, just let me know below. I'd be happy to do that if I know that there's enough interest in either of these programs. And so I made a switch kind of overall in my homeschool to Sonlight. And so I'm excited to bring my twins in on that as well. And like I said, I'm using the preschool level. And let me show you what exactly I'm using from it, because I'm not using it exactly as written, but I'm using most of the elements. Let me just explain what I mean. So along the side it says Bible, letters, shapes, and numbers, I believe. And then it says arts and crafts and music and Spanish. So that's what it says along the side. And maybe I'll do a flip through because that's hard to hold up with the camera. But my plan is with this is definitely using the Bible. I'm excited about that. And then definitely using all the read alouds. I've picked up most all of those. And I like the practical life / art section. So that is unique to this program. So I'll be using that, and I'll be using the music. So they have like songs and things that I will probably just look up on YouTube. So that's the plan for this. As for the letters, shapes, and numbers, I'm not using Sonlight per se. I didn't pick up, they had a special kind of manipulative kit for the preschool package. I didn't get that. One, because I had already picked up Abeka and I felt like I could use all the wonderful Abeka resources because their visuals are awesome. And so I thought I could kind of put it together. And that's my plan. And so let me show you my Sonlight resources real quick before I get into Abeka. So the first one is this Bible. It's the Family Time Bible. This looks just really cute. It's just a wonderful picture Bible. And so I think this will be great for my twins. And then as for read alouds, I don't have all of them and I don't have the exact ones that are recommended, but we'll get the job done. And so what I do have is the Make Way for McCloskey book. So this is kind of a set of all of his books, which I'm looking forward to. I really like those ones. There's this one, The Bee Tree. There's A Big Quiet House. There's Ian and the Gigantic Leafy Obstacle. There's the Mike Mulligan and more. So all the Mike Mulligan stories. So that'll be cute. Our Animal Friends, Noah's Ark, and this one's so cute. We've already dived into this a bit. It's George and Martha. And they're just cute little friendship stories and good life lessons. So I love that. Nana Upstairs and Nana Downstairs. The Richard Scarry What Do People Do All Day. And then the Harper Collins Treasury of Picture Book Classics. This is a beast and there's some great ones in here. Some Francis, some Goodnight Moon, things like that. So that's a lot of the read alouds. That's not all of them. I have a few, I might put pictures up here, that are still coming in the mail. So there's a few other things in the program that I didn't pick up. There's like a nursery rhyme book and a Mother Goose book because I already have wonderful resources. And so I have these books. I don't know if anybody has, they're the Scott Gustafson. I love these. They're so pretty. So I have the Mother Goose here. And then I have the classic fairy tale book as well as the storybook Fables book. And additionally, I have some Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale books, and this is such a pretty copy. And these might be a little long for my twins, but we could break them up. And so I have these resources, so I didn't want to pick up new ones. I felt like I could glean from the instructor's guide, like what stories to read. And even if I can't figure it out, I'll just read some of the stories because they're all worthwhile. And so I did not pick up exactly what Sonlight had for that, but I already had stuff. So I'm happy to use what I have. So moving on to Abeka. So I was interested in Abeka because they have such a solid phonics foundational program. Like I've heard nothing but good things as to how well it's able to teach phonics. And I feel like my big kids have struggled a bit in that area, and it could just be them. Totally fine with that. But I feel a little bit like it's a weakness of mine learning how to teach reading and the English language in general. I love science, I love math, English and phonics, and learning how to read is definitely not my wheelhouse. So I thought giving Abeka a try would be a really good idea for just like laying some foundations for some early phonics, some letters and numbers and all of these things. And so like I was saying, I picked up some K3 type resources as well as the K4 program. And so let me talk to you about how I'm going to kind of interweave this with Sonlight. Remember how I was saying that they have this whole section of what's called letters, shapes, and numbers, and I did not buy the Sonlight kit for that because I plan on using Abeka. And so here's what I'm going to do is in Sonlight, so it's scheduled to do a letter a week plus shapes and numbers and things like that. So what I plan on doing is using my Abeka resources, especially the resources that are for the alphabet. So I have this resource, Animal Alphabet Friends. These are really large flashcards. They don't really even fit on screen, but they're wonderful. We've already played around with this a bit, but basically they highlight one letter and there's always an animal and it always has a name. And then on the back of the card is like some information about yaks in this case. There's also just little songs to help them remember what the sound of the letter is, like Y says yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so it just kind of gets it in their head and it's fun and colorful and big. And so I plan on using these during the Sonlight week for that letter. Additionally, I'm pulling in these cards. They're called the Language Development Visual Cards. And again, they're gigantic, so this is the same size. In this case, they do come with a teacher's guide, which just gives you a little bit more information about how to talk about things. Like there's one that talks about Mexico, and there's one for farm, but they're alphabetical, and some letters have more visuals or visual cards than others. But it's fun because it just gives them more vocabulary and just more language, I guess. And so I picked these up as just kind of an additional resource that we can play with and touch and talk about and go down rabbit trails if they're interested, or not at all if they're not interested. And so these I will add to kind of those weeks as well. And so that's all focused around the alphabet, and Abeka definitely has more alphabet resources. But those are the big ones I'm going to use at first because they're kind of more geared towards K3. But I do want to use some of the number resources because I didn't pick up that kit with the flashcards for the numbers. So I'll show you what Abeka had with their K4. It's called Number Concepts Flashcards 1 through 20. And so I think I have to cut these up, but it has all the numbers on the back, and we can count mice and things like that and talk about just the different numbers. So I plan on using these whenever Sonlight calls for some number resources. So that's what I'm planning to pull from Abeka first. The second thing from Abeka I did pick up was K4. I don't anticipate getting to it till the springtime, if not next year. Again, I'm going to kind of play it by ear with my twins, but I wanted to have it on hand for if they really feel like they're into it. If they're not, I obviously won't push it. So the K4 program comes with this big teacher's manual. I mean, K4, I don't know if they have all the like videos or online stuff that Abeka is so known for. Obviously, I'm not doing any of that because I'm really picking and choosing what I'm using from this program. So I'm doing a very teacher-led program. But what I do like is I do like this teacher manual. I just like stuff like this. It's very laid out, like every day. Lesson 118, it has your phonics review, then reading, handwriting, numbers, activity time. So it just kind of takes you through the day, and it's like a stepwise progression in laying a good foundation in these skills, which again is what I just really need help with. I need a very strong instruction with which I can work with, more than I need in order to be able to tailor it to what I need, as opposed to like less than I need and having to add to it myself. I hope that makes sense. So this stuff makes me happy. Some of the other resources in the student kit, I'm a little less sure if I'll even be using anytime soon. And that's this one's the ABC 1, 2, 3, so phonics and numbers workbook, which I don't mind this kind of stuff. It's a little bit of coloring, a little bit of circling. I'm not sure how good they'll be at kind of holding a pencil or writing. And so here's the writing book, and this one's more tracing your letters and some colors, and there's an extra writing tablet. And then the program comes with some little early readers, because by the end of K4, they're sounding out a lot of words. They have kind of a decent grasp on some phonics, which for me is fantastic, and it might be a perfect segue either into All About Reading, or if they really like the Abeka program, we'll just continue with Abeka. I'm kind of holding that very loosely. Some of the other resources, like I said, what drew me a lot to this program was the colorful resources. So that was the numbers one. And it just has a lot of these flashcards, just things you can hold up. So this is like one for a lot of the alphabet and remembering the sounds of the alphabet. And here's learning games. So this has a bunch of fun games. And there's a little instruction manual for how to use all these games. They punch out, and my twins will love that. I just love that I don't have to go be crafty in any way. Obviously, I'm not good at that. And then phonics, charts and games. And I think there's a numbers, charts and games too. Yes, numbers, charts and games. I think that was it. So many good resources that I think will be perfect for the fact that there's 2 of them and we can kind of pass things around, and they're very tactile and colorful. So that's kind of a lot of the K4. There's a few other flashcards and things. Again, if you want a flip through or more details on the program, please let me know. So that's my plan for my twins. I am so excited for this. I'm so excited to get them into our school, to get them excited about learning. They have been wanting to join for so long, and I just have been like, oh, I don't know what to do with you. Oh, here's this workbook. Oh, I was unsure of what to do. And so now I have a solid plan, and I'm really excited about it. So let me know down below, do you have preschoolers? What are some of your favorite resources? Have you had preschoolers? What were some of the resources you really like to use? But otherwise, that's what I have for this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Like it, subscribe, all those things. And remember, tomorrow is the family subjects video. Earlier in the week was 2nd and 1st grade. So thank you again, and I will see you in the next video. All right, have a wonderful day. Bye.